here across the globe, especially for people who work with customer, for customers. And I would want to see big smiles. All of you could see, beautiful, great looking panelists here. Let's show a little thumbs up for the CX Day. Thank you very much. Welcome, welcome, each one of you. I just want to welcome everyone. I'll just give a brief introduction. And before that, I just want to set the context. Customer Experience Day is celebrated every October, on the first Tuesday of every October. And I don't know if, what about every one of you watching or the panelists, but this is my 8th Customer Experience Day. I've been celebrating it since 2015.
Wow.
Yeah, so it used to be a little bit different earlier. Now it's different, but we try to, be part of it as much as possible. I'm glad that the community is really growing fast. So super happy. Type in the chat box if you're watching this live or later, if you're part of this customer experience movement all over the world, and type in where are you joining from. So let's get started. And I want to welcome Pawan Gupta. He is a director, customer support and success at Anthology. Just give a thumbs up when I say your name. He's a certified CX pioneer and extremely passionate about customer experience. I've seen his journey. The topic also I'll talk about. Everybody who's here has a reason to be here. So I want to welcome you, Pawan. Next, I want to welcome Smita. She heads the Equitas Small Finance Bank Customer Experience domain. And again, super happy to have you here, Smita. Smita has also won several awards. One of the best is the Women's CX Professional of the Year. So congratulations, Smita, for doing the great work that you're doing. And great to have you here.
Thank
Thumbs up.
you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, next I want to welcome Sindhu Sekaran. Again, a passionate CX professional. She's a corporate vice president solutions with WNS, travels all over the world to create differentiated customer experiences. The stories are many. One of my favorite is when she was received recently, in an overseas travel with the, Ganpati idol in her room, right? And that when she shared on the LinkedIn, it kind of gave me some goosebumps. So welcome, Sindhu, and great to have you here.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. I want to welcome Praveen, Algarsami, and he was earlier with Dell and recently moved to another great company in the role of Director Customer Support, Apteam. He loves to build customer-centric cultures, and many of the people whom you're seeing here have also been part of the Hall of Fame interviews because of the achievements that they have done. Praveen has also recently recorded that Hall of Fame with me. So Praveen, great to have you. I know there are a lot of stories that you would be able to share on this journey. Thank you for being here. Welcome.
Thank you, Rajesh. Thank you.
Great.
Glad to be here.
Great. Wow. So we have, somebody asking, Copano, where are you joining from? Let me show that there is this message that's coming. It is getting recorded, Copano, so you can watch that. There was a message in the chat window asking if is this getting recorded. Yes, it is getting recorded. You can watch it on the YouTube. Even on LinkedIn, it'll stay for some time, but on YouTube, it'll be there for long. So you're most welcome to watch it even later. All right. So, what is the topic today that we are going to talk about on this Customer Experience Day? It's about climbing the customer experience ladder, journey from CX to CXO. And that's the reason every panelist here is, kind of cherry picked, hand picked, carefully picked to be part of this discussion because they have been the role models of this movement of bringing that CX passion into their work, into their life, and growing through the ranks by making a difference in the world of their customers, right? So I want to, go around and I want to, ask one word or two words. And when I ask you to speak, that's probably the kickstart of our session where I start to bring in the panelist that describes your CX journey from where you started to today. For me, it's been adventurous, right? So, for what's your word, Sindhu?
Exciting.
Exciting, Smita.
Passionate.
Passionate. Pavan, what's your word?
I'd go with passionate as well.
Passionate. Praveen, what's your one word?
Inspired.
Inspired. Okay. So you can see, how exciting it has been. And now I want to, get more focused and want to ask some serious questions. And the purpose of that is all the CX professionals who are going to look at this, hear their stories. I want you to get the direction from, these stories as to how customer experience can propel growth to even to the CXO level, right? So I want to quickly go around and maybe begin with Smita and ask you, Smita, how do you think this CX focus helped you in your growth? Tell us specifically how it has helped propel your growth. Over to you.
Okay, so I'll give an example of myself. Initially, before I could get into a CX role, so I had no clue on what CX was all about, and all that I knew of was that it impacts customers and it impacts customer experience. But I didn't know that there was a method to the madness, and that's what Rajat's training actually gave me. He put in a method, and he said that these are the key pillars that are going to be instrumental in the journey of customer experience. That gave me a real big boost, and I think that was the stepping stone into my role, into my new role as customer experience head at Equitas, and that really helped me, understand how I should approach, handling customer experience as a, more as a role, and in terms of what all I should be focusing on. So all that was made really, really clear. So thanks to you, Rajat. Tamran, again, I mean, every session I make it a point to thank you. I can't thank you enough, but thank you so much. And that was the stepping stone for me.
Thank you so much, Smita. It's the work that you do, the passion that you bring in. So really appreciate how you really made a difference to this space. Moving on, I want to now go to someone else and learn from them, hear from them. How is it that what part of customer experience journey has impacted your role, your career the most? So I want to ask Praveen, tell us what part of customer experience journey would you call as the most monumental in your journey and in terms of impacting your customers and your career?
It's the cultural part. Yeah. It's the very way that every organization operates. Yeah. It's the very way every team member, the leader, and the customer come together to create an experience. Now, when we say this, it's every organization within their units have a have a clear agenda in terms of what as a vertical they need to achieve, right? But when you take customer experience, it's not a department, right? It's a culture that flows within the organization. Yeah, and everybody should come together to create it. Yeah, there is some common points of intersection that everybody needs to find in the entire organization. It's customer experience, and now one of the key challenges that we are driving through is customer centric high performance culture.
Fantastic.
Right, and that's what is a monumental part of being in the journey of CX.
Great. Yeah, Praveen, thank you. I think every CX leader that I talk to talks about the emphasis of focusing on culture, though it's a long haul game. You're lucky to be part of a culture. If you have to build one, then it's really hard work. Absolutely. So thanks, Praveen, for mentioning. I now want to go to Sindhu. Sindhu, I want to hear from you. How do you how you think CX focus your customer centric approach, and you've played different roles, and you've traveled across the world, and you work in different parts of geographies, and handle different kind of customers. How does that CX focus personally help you to evolve as a leader and move up the ladder?
It's a good question, Rajat, and it's so important to go back to basics somewhere, and I think while customer experience is one part of it, I think it's human to human, right? people understand the genuine which you to relate to them? How are you able to connect the dots and map a journey for them, right? I mean, the customer journey part is very, very important. I mean, you can't just talk about just the way I feel about it. How does it really impact them? What's in it for them? How should they see their customers? I think it's being able to connect the dots, the way I call it, and doing it with actual understanding the customer. You have to be genuine, because people can see through it when you're just making up stories or just making up something which they're not able to relate to. I think it's the honesty, the genuineness, the trust that you're able to build over time is what really makes an impact, the way I see it.
Great, great. Yeah, thank you, Sindhu. I think really underlining the emphasis on the human to human. I really like the way you talked about that. And absolutely, I think sometimes with technology, we undermine and we sometimes forget that ultimately we are dealing with someone who is human on the other side. So important in spite of, technology doing its game, we
Correct.
still have to remember human to human. Thank you for that. Pawan, I want to again come back to you and ask you, do you really believe this customer centric mindset, in our community, we talk about iPod. For those, who probably don't know that, it stands for passion, obsession, and discipline. I have passion, obsession, and discipline. So, really, do you really think this aspect of softer aspect of this human to human that we heard, this CX focus, is it critical for growing as a leader and making a impact and growing the ranks and making an impact? Do you really think it's important, and why?
Thank you so much, Rajat, for that interesting question. Uh, it is important, absolutely, and like Sindhu mentioned, you can't take the human out of the CX, right? End of the day, you're trying to drive experience for the human that's on the other side of the coin. So if you want to really grow up the ladder or want to make an impact from a customer experience point of view, I think it'll be important that you understand the need of the need that you're trying to address to, right? And to be able to address that, you have to be absolutely passionate about the whole customer centric view. Once you bring that into play, once you bring that with some passion, I think you'd be able to drive the outcome that you want, because it'll be more of an outside in approach that you'll bring into play then. Thank you.
Great. Thanks a lot. Really appreciate that, Pawan. That kind of takes me to my next question. Smita, I'm coming to you, and my question is, and while I ask this question to Smita, I again want to welcome people who are joining live and watching this live or even recorded later. Thanks for being here, and feel free to punch in your question, and we'll have our panelists respond to that. And I just want to ask Smita, what are the top 3 qualities of a customer-focused leader that you would advocate, maybe that you prescribe even to your teams, and that you think are must to grow as a leader to reach to the CXO level, to be able to drive the organization and lead it as a customer-centric organization? What are the 3 top qualities?
Yeah, so one is in terms of having a clear view of or direction of where you want to head. That is important. And having the interpersonal skills to convince your management. So if you are clear in your mind as to what's going to be the result that you want to achieve, it's easier to convince your senior management. That's one part of it, because that's the organization part of it. The second part of it is also to be very, very clear as to what your customer needs. Now, there is a lot of time that needs to go into understanding what exactly the customer wants. So sometimes we assume a lot of things, okay? But when you validate it, do you really validate it with the customer is the question. So understanding customer needs, unsaid needs as well. So sometimes the customer really does not tell you what exactly he wants. So every time we seek a VOC or an NPS score and ask him how is the experience, etc., etc., you get to hear what he has at the top of the mind, but that doesn't mean that that's all that he wants. He's able to voice out that much. That's about it. So there are unsaid needs of the customer that also has to go. So this requires some bit of deep understanding of the way the customer behaves in a specific situation, etc. So there are tools and there are engagements that can, help in this deep understanding. So that is required. And of course, the drive and discipline towards every initiative that you want to take should definitely be there. So that's the third element. So the drive and discipline, why I say that so, is that sometimes what happens is pushbacks are for sure in this industry because you have certain budgets and you have an organizational goal. So there could be pushbacks in terms of prioritizing requirements, etc., etc. So it means that you park your points or your key projects or deliverables and not say that these are certain things that I'm just management has not agreed and hence I'm not going to look at any of these. So it requires some amount of drive and discipline to revisit all of those at an opportune time and ensure that each of it is planned well. So some amount of senior management engagement, a deep understanding of customer requirements, and third is project planning and discipline according to me.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, yeah, I think thanks for recapping that. There's no need for me to reiterate that. And what Smita shared, if you are someone who wants to grow into customer experience space, if you want to grow as a leader, then this is something that you need to focus. And I want to share with you one of our community members who is already a senior leader in her company, and she is a group vice president. And when I asked her, what's next, she said, are you looking at being a chief customer officer or chief operating officer? Her answer was, why stop there? Why not be the CEO of the company? Right. So what I want to share is, there is a lot of you know power and authenticity in being a customer centric leader in the context of growing your business. So if you're able to master this customer experience domain at not just at the skill level and not just at the business level, but also at the heart set, as we say, the heart set, mindset, and skill set, imbibe it into your thinking, into your way of being, then I think world is your oyster. Now I want to ask you a quick kind of quiz question, and this is open for all panelists. It's a simple question, and it comes from the fit framework of customer experience, which is the common framework that we talk about. Is, if we have to deliver great experience, then you need efficiency, you need to make it enjoyable, and you need to make it easy. Now I want to ask, some of you are smiling, if I have to ask you to lead with one, if you have to prioritize as a CX leader, what would you pick, right? So I will go around, but once again, let me repeat: do you want it to be really easy for your customer? Do you want to be enjoyable? And do you want to be what? Efficient, right? And I'm not giving you the details. It's as simple as that as a question. So let me go around. As I see on the screen, kindly mute yourself if you're not speaking. My I'm kind of getting a echo, right? Thank you. So Sindhu, what would be your pick out of the three, and why?
Ease,
Ease.
ease,
Give
definitely
me a one or
ease.
two liners. Why do you pick that?
Ease because you track how easy is it to do business with
Okay.
you. I mean, the customer effort that we try to measure,
Right.
right? What is the effort it's taking me to do business? I think that really
Right.
matters.
Okay.
Enjoyable, maybe if I'm paying a premium, I really don't want an enjoyable experience, but I want ease
Okay.
of doing this,
Okay.
right? So
Got it. Got it. Yeah. Thank you. All right. So we have someone. Let me just share that. It's coming. So there is an answer in the chat window as well. Okay, but I don't want my panelists to get biased with that. Can you all see the response from Gautam Gaikwad? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Yeah. Okay. Great. But that's a personal choice. That's why each one of you as panelists also need to choose the answer. So I want to go to Praveen. Praveen, what would you pick?
Yeah, let me put a +1 towards in the set. It's easy.
It's easy. Okay.
The reason is simple. I think when it's easy, it's efficient and enjoyable.
Oh, is it? Okay. Interesting. So you've combined, all right. This is what is all encompassing, right? Nothing else is needed. Fantastic. Let me go to Smita. Smita, what is your pick?
So my pick is making journey is enjoyable,
Okay.
because if it's enjoyable, it's automatically easy and efficient. And the thing is, people remember.
Can I request
People
each of
rem-
the panelists to mute because I think there's an echo. I don't know if it's because of that. Kindly try that. Thank you.
Yeah, so I would pick enjoyable for the simple reason that people remember feelings more than it being easy journey. Easy journey is a kind of, it's become like a hygiene factor now, and hence I feel that if you're giving an enjoyable experience, people will remember it.
Okay, great. Yeah, so you got it. Thank you, Smita. Pawan, what will be your pick?
I would be plus one with Smita because that's the pinnacle of the pyramid right there. So if you are giving an enjoyable experience, you are kind of taking care of the efficiency as well as the easy part of it. Thank you.
Okay. Um, Thank you. I think we have a tie between enjoyable and easy, and efficient is right now being parked. So, any one of you in the audience like being efficient, please put it in the chat box so we can say, yeah, there's one, vote for that or a couple of votes for that. Once again, if you have any of these three choosing between these three, please share. Now, I want to move forward and really ask the panelists one of their favorite customer centric companies besides their own, right? Because you may want to say that. So I'm just saying, okay, that is, we agree, taken. Which is the next best company which you think is your favorite in terms of customer experience, and how what would be the strength of that company, and give you certain choices. Strong leadership, customer centric leadership, customer centric processes, customer centric culture. So give me the company and give me which one of these three is the top reason for that company to be your favorite company. So once again, I'll go round, and let me first ask this time, Pawan.
It has to be Amazon. Purely because I've not experienced any other company that's so customer centric like they are. A to Z, that's what they stand for. Anything and everything that you want in the easiest possible way gets to you. So simple as that. Amazon really is an epitome of what client centric company should be. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Okay, I got muted. So I just want to, since we are talking about the journey of CX to CXO, and we talk a lot about Amazon, especially Jeff Bezos, and the leadership, that principles that Jeff Bezos himself has imbibed and as part of the culture and his leadership. So what we have noticed is, and I think panelists would probably agree, is that he has shown that customer obsession from the very beginning, right? And that's, again, when we talk about that passion, obsession, and discipline, and we also heard panelists talking about that passion and discipline. So I want to, once again, in bold and underline the importance of moving from CX to CX. So if you bring that kind of customer obsession, then you are the one who's heading towards that great journey of CXO. Moving on, the same question, let me ask Sindhu. Um,
Keep in mind,
Sindhu, what's your pick?
we've spoken so many times about it. There's no prizes for guessing
Oh,
that. It's HubSpot,
okay,
for sure. And I think it starts with the strong leadership.
okay,
That definitely drives that culture below. So I think it's got to do with the strong leadership, which drives that culture of CX.
okay. Do you have a favorite leader at HubSpot?
Yamini Rangan. No, who
We
else?
can.
Yamini
So,
Rangan, the CEO.
so this is for you, Yamini Rangan. I think you're a great leader. We all know that. Maybe we'll copy this, and maybe we'll tell you at what minutes we did talk about you, because we admire you, and especially Sindhu.
We follow her journey very closely. Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah, great. Thank you, Sindhu. I like to hear a new, fresh name. Of course, it's more B2B. Nevertheless, it's a great company. Agree. Now I want to move to Smita. Smita, what's your pick?
Yeah, so I would have told Amazon too, but I work in a company called General Electric, which everybody is aware of. and in terms of customer centricity, in terms of processes. That's given me a load of learning, and I completely owe what I've learned in terms of, say, customer centricity, being customer first, from GE. They don't just talk about it, but every single process is around how can I, there's this PIPOC, and you know that, right? So in Six Sigma, so GE is a company which follows Six Sigma quite a lot, and so they teach even the base level executives in terms of getting a in terms of getting a white belt certification, green belt certification. So they nurture the roots so really well. So it's kind of ingrained into employees in terms of seeing everything from a customer perspective, and I completely owe it to General Electric.
Okay, so now I know your secret of being so process driven. You pick up one process and kind of hammer it through. And I know GE is known for that. Six Sigma. They were the one I think who really made it popular and made it, deep part of their company culture. So thanks for that. Praveen, I want to ask you which company and why.
Let me guess if you both get my answer, Rajat and Sindhu. What's my answer? You know, we both know it actually.
So let Sindhu try it.
Can't be Dell for
We've
sure.
spoken. We've spoken about this company in detail.
We have, is it?
Yeah.
Uh,
Dell? No, not Dell. You just talked about
um,
Dell. Yeah.
not Zappos, not Amazon, because we've already covered Amazon. We've covered. Um,
It's you
Apple?
know
uh, Apple,
Starbucks.
Starbucks?
Starbucks.
Starbucks.
Oh, okay. We talked. Come on, I
I
just
got it
had a
finally.
iced coffee, but I had to order from somewhere else. I have a different view, so I probably didn't remember that. I still have a different view, by the way, on that. So why,
Yeah.
Praveen? Why?
Yeah. I mean, even day before yesterday, right? I mean, I gave a assignment to my team, kind of a thing to introspect. It said Starbucks aims to inspire and nurture human spirit, one person, one cup, and one neighborhood at a time. They focus on creating a welcoming and personalized coffee house experience, in as a central to their vision,
Okay.
right?
Hmm.
Now,
Nice. Hmm.
how could we replicate it in all our products? This experience, yeah, coffee, we've spoken enough, right? Starting from the pricing, right? You really don't need to walk in and pay for a 300 bucks a coffee from where we live. But what do you pay for? Now that has opened horizons for multiple things. Take anything in life you deal with. There is something called core. You go to a restaurant, you go there for your food. You go to a theater, you go there for movie. But people, do they really choose today a restaurant or a movie hall just because of the content they're going for? They go for the experience,
Yeah, I
right?
think
And Starbucks is in the center of it. Is my answer.
can't take it from you. I think give it to you. And we have some thumbs up. I always have seen that kind of, backing someone else backing your point of view, right? But my choice of coffee is in that I have different views. Lovely. We also have Gautam Gaikwad saying Flipkart. Once again, thank you for participation, and I welcome if any one of you have any other names to mention. I always keep looking for, and same for our panelists. We keep looking for more inspiration, for more names which we can identify with when we come from customer focused mindset. Now, moving on, I have a very important question again, and want a brief response from every one of you. Um, Give me your top advice for someone who's at who wants to grow in the career to a CXO level. What would you ask them to do on a day to day, week on week, month on month basis to see themselves progressing? What would be your advice? I'm not looking for a generic advice on mindset and leadership. I'm specifically looking at, like, earlier some of you mentioned as that identifying customer needs, having the intention, right? What's most important advice that they can follow to move up the ladder towards the CXO position, provided they already have that vision to be getting there. So what part of customers experience, customer centric behavior should be your number one pick in order to help them fast track to CXO? There could be many, but I want you to pick one. So let me get started with Smita.
Yeah, so for me, it's upskilling first, in terms of understanding, frameworks, in terms of understanding. So there are, so once you really get into it, it's an ocean in itself. So in terms of equipping yourself with tools, arms, and ammunition, a lot of upskilling is definitely required, and that's been my journey as well. So while I went through some amount of training, I there is no stop to it, right? So I'm constantly looking at what's available, what are the new ways of doing things, and stuff like that. So if I have to stop with one, that's one thing that I would talk about.
Thank you, Smita. And I think I would let everyone who's watching, listening, that we do a fine job of helping leaders build these CX skills through what we do. So you're most welcome to explore and most welcome to learn from all the panelists here from their journeys as well. I want to move to Pawan. Pawan, what would be your number one pick advice for this?
Number, yeah, number. See, the adoption stage of CX would say that you want to be consistent. And for you to be consistent, you have to be absolutely sure that you are trying to not solve everything in one go. You should be able to have that view on what's your biggest pain area and what's leading to that. So once you are able to connect the dots there, then you can pick up your battles and start addressing one thing at a time and looking for incremental improvement as you move along, as you measure that. If you're able to do that, you'll be able to have some quick wins, which will give you more motivation to win over other battles that will come forward as you move along the journey. Thank you.
Great, thank you. So Pawan talked about consistency, and I think I'm glad because I know each of the leaders here and their journey and how you operate. So I think you're very coherent with your responses. And in fact, I am quite keen that the more people know about some of the things that you've been doing. So, interest of time, will probably take it some other time in terms of detailing. And you talked about, Pawan, about quick wins as well. So thank you. Let's move to Praveen. Praveen, what would you uh, mention as your number one choice?
And number one choice is, upskilling. That's probably plus one to what Smita said. It's like without the right lens, how much can you see the detail that you want, right? From I'm a typical example. I was in the journey of customers for about throughout my career, like 19, 20 years, right? The perspective changed totally when we all came together and did something like a CCX, right? The perspective that I have now when I actually take up something to run through from the CX point of view is different. And that's what the tools bring in. That's what the knowledge brings in. Yeah. So that's certainly the top notch. And the second is how much you value experience as an individual. How creative can you get to have an experience part of it? How much can you be passionate about this very word called experience? The industry runs with multiple different terms: support, success, yeah, customer service, support, success, etc. But how much you as a leader in CX wants to associate yourself to this word called experience, yeah, is something that you really got to be passionate about. And if you're working on a product, what more than experience is a customer looking for, right? So anything and everything for me is about upskilling and how much passionate about bringing these two together.
Fantastic. Yeah. Yeah, I think great point. And just want to, I think I heard it from two panelists on this question about the value of upskilling and also the element of that framework, which I know we follow. I want to also credit at this point CXPA for that, because I, in 2015, when I first got introduced to CCXP certification, because I wanted to clear that I was introduced not to that depth as a CXPA, but I also want to thank my community, which has evolved over a period of last 7-8 years. We have got a strong repository of and deep understanding of this framework that many of the leaders are here talking about. So what they are saying is master the skill, and for that, mastering that skill, learn certain framework, and also innovate. And when you say experience, understand whether you're talking about support, service, customer success. Everywhere you can innovate to the extent you know some tools, some framework, right? And then you make it your own. That's what I've seen for everyone who's here. You make your own and then you innovate with that, right? So congratulations everyone who's here and have done it. Sindhu, to you now, what would be your pick?
So, Rajat, I think definitely getting the method to the madness, right? Because sometimes it's a very loosely used term, right? We all keep saying CX, customer experience, and not really feel anything about it. I think for me, it's about uh, learning to experiment. Fail, you will fail, but don't stop yourself from doing something because you will fail, right? I think you have to be open to change. I think CX is all about flexibility. You may not get it right the first time. How much are you willing to go that extra mile and make those changes? While the frameworks will all help you, but may not fit into your business all the time. How open are you to change? How open are you to experiment? How open are you to being flexible? And I think collaborate, because CX cannot be driven as one individual saying I want to drive CX. You need to collaborate, you need to have a partnership, you need to bring people together. So all of that, I think, is very important for you to climb that ladder of CX.
Fantastic. Thank you, Sindhu. I'm really glad that you built on and further corroborated on what some of the points that had come in and given an interesting perspective. Method to madness. Again, what I understood, Sindhu, is you talked about this framework is good, but putting it into context, right? And I know some of you start by understanding what are the customer pain points, what your organization would appreciate as early wins that some of you mentioned, low hanging fruit, right? And then, so any framework needs to give ROI, quick results, evidence that it's working. And you also talked about collaboration, which is super, super valuable. So great. I mean, I'm glad that I asked this question because I learned so much from your responses, and my mind expanded through this collaboration with each one of you. Yeah, and I believe the same is happening for any one of you who is watching this live. This is your opportunity to ask some of these CX leaders who are making a difference. You watch it later, you can post your question, and feel free to post your question. Now we are moving towards wrapping this session up. I just want to make sure that if you've been listening, watching, this is your opportunity to ask your question. All right, so I want to now just as we start to wrap up, we are already 1 minute away from 3:45. That's what we had planned. If there are no much questions, I would be happy to open the forum and grab the opportunity to say what you want to say on this customer experience day. Easy one.
And just a takeaway from what Sindhu mentioned, right? Collaboration is all about partnership. Partnership is all about strengths, and in all of the 5 or 6 frameworks or verticals that you have within the CX, you cannot be champion, or at least I am not champion on all of them, right? So I can solve 1 or 2, but I definitely would be interested in getting more help in some of the other verticals, particularly, say, for example, design. That's not my strength area. So getting help to address those would be amazing. And so how do we collaborate to actually utilize each other's strengths to deliver the outcome that we are looking for is going to be crux of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Pawan, for jumping in on to that. Anyone else wants to say something on this occasion of the International Customer Experience Day for the community that you think
So
should be known for people who are in CX or thinking about CX? Yeah, please.
Yeah, so big shout out to all of you who are making an impact there, and great job wherever you are, and have the passion to drive a change and leading the change. Very many congratulations to all of you who are there, who are so interested in uh, driving CX. I think this CX is the way ahead for any organization, predominantly because customers are definitely having more and more options. The only differentiator can be the experience. So keeping that in mind, I wish all of you in the CX industry a very all the best for all your future initiatives and innovations.
Thank you. Thanks, Smita. That's great. I just want to read comment from Gautam Gaikwad. He's saying win-win for company and customer is the right approach for CX that he, I think, mentioned when we talked about collaboration over here. There's another question if somebody wants to answer that. Any favorite CX books the panel would recommend? Let's hear, from each one of you. Let's see if you have let any one of you share that, and if you have a different pick, please do that. Let's help Asim Nagar on that question.
I can go first, Rajat. I think for me, it's delivering happiness. That's the whole Zappos story. I think it's very simple, easy read, and fun to read. So that's definitely something you should look at.
Okay, yeah, I'm just typing it in here so that if it goes on for anyone who's watching this, delivering happiness is Sindhu's pick. Anyone else?
It's a customer success manager. There's a book called Customer Success Manager
Okay.
by Mehta. Yeah, and it's actually co-authored by three. And it in fact talks about Salesforce's strategy, the organization Salesforce, how they actually reduce their churn, right? Even though they were growing at a fantastic rate, they were actually having customer churn. So how did they reduce it? Is a fantastically written customer success manager. Yeah.
Thank you. Asim, you're getting some recommendations. Anyone has anything else to add?
Something more familiar, outside in. I think that's something I keep on going back to whenever I'm in doubt, particularly with CX. So that's one thing I can recommend. Thank you.
Yeah, I would say that, especially coming from the CCXP framework. So it's a good framework focused book. Okay, Sindhu, you have anything to add?
I think this is my first CX day, Rajat. I'm glad that people are recognizing CX so much. The way I see this, because there's awareness, there's people want to learn more about it and get frameworks, which was not there before. So I think it's a great start. I think whichever journey we are, and I think we all need to give ourselves a pat on the back to have started that journey.
Yes, let's do
So yeah,
that.
that's all I
On
would say.
Sindhu's
Yes,
recommendation, let's all do that, and
yes,
pat on your back as well if you're watching, listening, because you all deserve that. You're committed to this. Yes.
great. Thank you.
Great, thank you. So I think we are good. Um, how do you make heart, right? I won't be able to click picture, but if I have to, then you have to make hearts, and let's do that, and let's do it for the CX day. Um, I just captured. Oh yeah, I think all of you will have to do that. Yes, that's right. That looks good. Okay, great. I captured that for the social media. I really want to thank each one of you, for doing the work that you do. And as I said, there's a reason that I wanted to bring you in. I am also seeing so much happening through your work, and it's just maybe the start, because I remember 7 years back, customer experience was not so well known term, if you would agree. Now on LinkedIn, CXPA has 67,000 members. Just in a few days, they added 900 plus members. So you can see the interest, the speed with which it's growing, and that's because people are now realizing the value and importance of that. And I want to again thank each one of you for contributing into that space. We look upon each one of you for that leadership. Sindhu, Praveen, Smita, Pawan. Thanks for your time. Thanks for inspiring everyone in this space.
No, thanks to you, Rajat. I mean, while you're generous to give that out to the leaders of the CX, it's thanks for evangelizing, yeah, and keeping this whole community together. I mean, there is certainly a credit that goes back to you. Pan India, right? Thank you
Asia,
for that.
actually.
Yeah.
Great, thank you, thank you. Please, now we have some Prakash. I know he's himself Prakash Dadlani is a leader, veteran in CX space, and he's commended this session. Wonderful session, to the point, well moderated. Okay, yeah, so congratulations. Thank you so much, Prakash, for joining. We have another comment coming in. Special thanks for this amazing experience, Gautam. Thank you for your active participation. Yeah, with that, we start to wrap it up. Last word from anyone, then we'll close it.
More power to you, Rajat, and to the whole CX community. Happy customer experience day.
Yeah. What I would say is the next version of CX will have an AI to it. So, what's your AI?
Yeah, with that, I want to let all the audience who are watching it live, or maybe later, I'm not sure when will you watch it, but at 5 p.m. today, we have another panel discussion coming up specifically on the impact of AI on customer experience. And that also is from the community that we have here. So you're welcome to join that. Thank you, Praveen, for mentioning that.
That was purely a coincidence.
Yes.
Great.
Thank you. Thank you, Rajat.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All
Thank
right.
you.
So we end this stream. Everyone, thank you so much for joining, for watching, for being part of it.